Guys, welcome back to the Physique Factory Podcast. We've not done one for a while, and we've got a new team member we need to introduce. Gav, do you want to say something about yourself?
Hi, I'm Gav. I'm an
alcoholic.
I'm Gav. I'm happy to be here, joining Physique Factory, working with Connor and James. And a little bit more about me in terms of I've been PTing now for probably 2 years. As I was going through my PT course and learning, Connor was my coach, which then got me into his way of thinking with the whole way he trains, coaches, and I've sort of taken my the way I want to coach and train similarly to the way that he does it as well. So we now find ourselves working together, which is quite nice.
Yeah, and that's similar to the way James works too. but different as well, which is obviously the whole point in having a team, I think, is just having, like, I suppose, like, we've all got a similar framework, but we will have different ways of delivering that. Like, I've noticed just from like the Elevate stuff, I would say Gav is a lot nicer than me, that's for sure. A lot kinder.
Just at the start as we get deeper into it.
As it goes on, you get more brutal and honest.
Yeah. That's it. Like, I suppose when I was like 2 years into this, I was a lot nicer as well, and then like the longer you do it, you're just like, fuck this. I mean, James, you've been doing this a long time. How long have you been like PT coach sort of stuff?
10 years. Fucking hell. Yeah, since 2014. Yeah, 10 years.
Fucking hell. I mean, you must be just like brutal with people now. You just must be like, fuck you. Do as you're told.
Yeah, it depends on like the person or anything. And like, you've got to understand them to some point, haven't you? And what they're going through and what their issues might be and whatnot. But yeah, to some degree, when people are just fucking about, then you just need to be brutally honest and then tell them. But that's the best way to be direct and then get to them. Don't fart around shit.
Yeah. But going back to Gav a little bit, sorry, Gav, I'm interrupting you already, but I just wanted to continue the conversation about you a little bit. And like the reason like kind of Gav was the right person to bring on the team is like, basically, you guys that have listened to this, you'll know me and James love to like geek out and stuff, but like you always want someone that's like wanting to learn more. And after Gav done coaching with me, went and got himself a mentor, like put himself on courses and things like that, and was like just eager to learn. So like Gav's obviously the right person from that perspective. And like when we grow this thing even further, it's going to be more people that are just looking to level up, as some of the fitness kind of mentors might say, level up. But yeah, so yeah, I just kind of wanted to add that, Gav. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, perfect. All good.
Man City fan as well, for anyone that's wondering.
Definitely not. So I'm not. I'm a Man United fan. However, I tried to get I have 3 kids. 2 of them are Man City fans. I tried my best to get them to be Manchester United fans. Even took them to Old Trafford. And personally, I think that was it. As soon as they'd been there, they'd seen how shit they were. They were like, nah, I'm waiting to support Man City. See you later, Dad. So have to admit, I have been down to a few Man City games, done the tour. It is actually pretty good and it's nice football to watch, but I'll never come away from United. But they have agreed to come down to a United game with me at some point. So fair's fair. I'll go to games with them. They come to games with me.
It's all right. City be playing in the Championship soon when they get 115 allegations like against them. So yeah, they'll be relegated.
But that's it. Then I'll get them at Old Trafford. No bother. They'll be converted.
Let's not talk about allegations. There's some chat about that before we came on the podcast. let's not start all that again.
It's the truth. Allegations. That's the truth.
Anyway, let's steer away from that conversation. But yeah, I think like I don't know, like, but obviously with Man City's success, like James, you'll see it more than anyone. Is there a lot like younger guys that are supporting them nowadays compared to maybe, obviously, because like when you were growing up, Man United were the dominant team, weren't they?
Yeah, especially around where I live as well, because it is like Manchester. And yeah, there's a lot more younger kids who are like 8, 9, 10. You see a lot more of them walking around wearing City shirts rather than United shirts. And it's
scumbags.
It's a bit like 50-50 at the moment. There's still like a lot of United fans, despite how shit we've been. But hopefully we can like turn it around a bit. But yeah, it's like 50-50 because there used to be a lot of Reds. But now it's all the glory supporters, I guess.
You always get that, to be fair.
Yeah, so the
a young City will have a young support though. Like when you look at the sort of generation they're in just now, when kids are getting PlayStations or playing FIFA and that, it's City are one of the top teams. City are one of the, like when you first put FIFA in and you're waiting for the game to download, City's pretty much the first team that pop up, whereas before it used to be United. Yeah. So as soon as they start playing with those teams, a young kid's going to be like, oh, this is amazing, I'm going to support them. As well as like a lot of them follow their favourite players. Like the reason I got into United was because I like David Beckham, because back then everybody loved Beckham. I was a goalkeeper at the time as well, back when I was younger. Still am now, literally just retired. Last game was on Monday. But as a goalkeeper, I really liked Schmeichel. So then Schmeichel was there. The saves he used to make, you used to be, oh my God, I need to be this guy. And then when I used to go to St Johnstone games, I guarantee not many people know who St Johnstone are, but they had a goalkeeper called Alan Main. And then I used to go to the games and all I would do is just watch the goalkeepers because that's what I wanted to be, was a goalkeeper. So you tend to sort of go to teams that sometimes are with the best players are. I didn't really like Real Madrid before Ronaldo went, but I loved Ronaldo at United. He went to Madrid, so I was like, right, I need to start following Madrid. Then he went to Juventus. I need to start following Juventus. Then he's back to Man United, and then he's away again. So you start sort of following the teams of the players that you like. Similarly, like when Beckham moved to Madrid, and then he moved across to LA. Then he's obviously came back to AC Milan. Then he went to PSG for a bit. So you sort of follow your favourite players for a period of time until they sort of retire. And it's going to be the same with young kids right now with City and that. A lot of them think Pep, ultimately, yeah. In our generation, it was Ferguson. This generation, it's like a Mourinho, Pep, and all that type of stuff. So
Scottish football's a bit different, though, isn't it? There's more politics and religion involved in picking your team between the top two, anyway. But like Scotland's a weird place that way as well, because like I was in Edinburgh today, and I'm looking at this spray paint on this like bit of the, like, you know when they build new build houses and there's that big kind of barricade they put up against like waste ground or the motorway or whatever, and like in Edinburgh, and it just says Celtic in green and white, and I'm like, as much as I'm a Celtic supporter, I'm like, in Edinburgh, really? Like, surely you're a Hibs or a Hearts fan if you're in Edinburgh. And I know I can't talk, by the way. I don't live in Glasgow and I'm a Celtic supporter, but like, still, it's like Scottish football is the only place where, you know, you'll go to Ross County or whatever, and half the stadium's empty, but there's busloads of Celtic and Rangers fans coming down to Glasgow in a 8-hour round trip to fucking watch their team. It's mental, really, yeah. But I suppose it's glory hunting too, to some degree, isn't it?
It is. Even like, there's a lot of fans that go to Saints games. There's a lot of fans that go to Saints games that aren't even Saints fans. They just go to games because they can't be bothered travelling to Rangers games. So they'll watch the Rangers games on the telly. They're called couch fans.
Yeah.
And in an ideal world, everyone supports a local team, though. Like, in an ideal world, I'm a Saints fan, really, not a Celtic fan. But fuck that.
Until they play Celtic.
fuck being a Saints fan. Like,
why
would anyone want that? But anyway, let's talk fitness world. Let's not talk sports anymore, because well, who knows, we might get more listens about that. We were kind of going to start talking about the upcoming summer today, weren't we? Because obviously it's something that a lot of clients are going to struggle with, is the summer, because like, who the fuck wants to diet during the summer? Like, have you guys got a lot of guys that are dieting right now?
Yeah, a few of them actually, because the dieting for holidays, obviously leading up to that, but that's a good enough goal in itself if they want to look good when they go away and look good on the beach. So that's their like main thing. That's their why at the moment. That's why they're so strong at sticking to a diet. But when they do come back, or people who just want to lose a few pounds or whatever, you know, or stay in decent shape over the summer, and then obviously get all these social occasions popping up, like barbecues, like you mentioned before, nights out, just because it's nice weather, it's light at nights, you might fancy going to a beer garden or something like that. Then so these things that you've sort of got to like work around if you do want to improve or maintain your physique. I mean, I'm not going to say, it depends what the goal is at the end of the day, and how extreme it is, because say if you're on prep, then obviously you can't do any of that. But if you're just a Gen Pop client or a normal person and you just want to get in shape, you can do those sort of things in moderation. Obviously you can't go on a fucking bender like Friday, Saturday and Sunday. It probably wouldn't work. You won't get the shape that you want. So it just depends on your goals, how extreme they are, when you want them, and then literally what do you want to get out of it.
That's that, guys. Thanks for listening.
Covered all.
But no, you're absolutely right. Like, I think, like as you say, you like if you're a someone who's prepping for a bodybuilding show, something like that, you know, photo shoot sort of thing. It's like, well, tough shit. It's nice outside. You're not going to drink beer. Fuck that. But again, like if you're someone who's like not like whose goals aren't quite as serious or they aren't quite as stringent in terms of timelines, then yeah, you can absolutely still include a lot of this stuff. But I think where a lot of people maybe fall down is like, and you'll see it all the time where it's like, oh yeah, I really want to diet down, but it's the summer, and we'll be out boozing most weekends, and there's this and there's that, and then it comes to the winter, and then there's also something else. Then I don't know if I want to be dieting when it's cold outside. I don't know. There's always an excuse for a lot of these people, and it's like if you keep looking for these negatives, well, you're never going to do it, are you? There's always a reason not to do it. It's like the clients that come out and they're like, oh, I've just not got the time to do this anymore. It's like, well, you eat every day, don't you? You walk every day, and if you're going to the gym once or twice a week, well, that's something, isn't it? So it's like, there's always a way to do something if you want to do it. That's ultimately it. But
it's
yeah,
like,
some people.
If a crackhead hasn't got enough money, they still get crack. Then it's similar to that, though, isn't it? If they can find the motivation to somehow get that crack, then if you're motivated enough, you can somehow find whatever you need to do to get in shape. So there's always a fucking way. Crackheads do it. That use them as an example. Don't be a crackhead.
I mean, an addiction's probably quite different to like being motivated, but I mean, the sentiment works, doesn't it? But like, yeah.
I think a lot of the time it's obviously down to mindset as well. Like when you try and compare someone who's going to go on stage to potentially someone who's got like busy family and stuff like that, the motivation levels can dip at times because someone who's stepping on stage, they've got a timeline. They've got, let's say, 16 weeks. And they know within that 16 weeks, they're probably going to reach their target at maybe 13, 14, because they've got a couple of weeks worth of window just to sort of like, just in case anything happens. But most of the time, that's where Gen Pop people sort of trip themselves up because they expect it to be done at the exact same time as someone who's going to step on stage or someone who's going to do a photo shoot, but the end goal maybe isn't as big. Yes, going on holidays and stuff like that, they might want to fit into a certain dress size and stuff, and it can slow down at stages, and they can be easily swayed and stuff like that. But again, they've not then got, well, they do have potentially people judging them, but not to the extent of someone who's doing a photo shoot or someone who's stepping on stage. You've got judges there. You're then competing against other people. Realistically, for Gen Pop people, they're almost competing against themselves, and it's just trying to give them that sort of understanding that, yeah, things are going to happen, but it's more be honest. I find a lot of times with Gen Pop people, they'll not be as honest as people who are going to step on stage if they've fucked up. But then you'll know based on their stats what they've done, and it's trying to sort of coax that from them for them to trust you enough to be like, oh, yeah, you know what, I fucked up, like, perfect, brilliant, that's fine, glad you told me because we can fix it.
Yeah, I think motivation is probably the single biggest thing that you come up against, and it's like sometimes I feel like as a coach you're just a cheerleader. It's like if you like, okay, we've got the structure, we've got the general plan. It's like, how do we just fucking keep you doing that and keep you motivated? But like, what do you guys think? Like, I would say every single client near enough has some point where the motivation dips. There's like that dip in motivation, and then there's that dip in precision, if I can say the word right. It might just be how well they're tracking or actually just being asked to hit targets. I would say in every single like before and after picture or every single client I've worked with, it always happens. But it's like getting through that stage. It's like the ones who make it through it are the ones who achieve these great transformations, and the ones that don't are the ones that sadly don't and just end up back where they started. But would you guys see something similar?
Yeah, all the time. The thing is, like, obviously, everyone's like that. No matter who it is, you always get like peaks and troughs of like motivation. But it's those ones who like give up, or it's the constant ones who say they either give up and then they fuck you off as a coach because they just can't be arsed with it anymore, whatever. But it's the ones who like check in every week and they say, oh, I've had a bad week, and then it's another bad week, and it's like, literally, what can I do? What can I fucking say to help you? Because you just can't fucking do anything. It's like, what do you say?
There's definitely like there's a mindset thing to it all where like I don't know, this is what I struggle with as a coach is when, like you say, someone's in that position where they know what they need to be doing, they're just not doing it, and like sometimes I suppose there's nothing you can do like or say. You just got to try and like give them that environment, the right environment to change and the right support to change. It's like, look, when you're ready to do this, I'm here to help. But like, yeah, it's fucking frustrating. Like, I think that's something that winds me up a lot. Is like the fact that you can't get every single client that incredible transformation. I mean, you've got the ability, you've got the skill set, you've got the knowledge, but it's like you can't control what they do ultimately. That's a big thing.
Exactly. You know what's annoying though is like they go away and say, "Oh yeah, Connor's coaching, it didn't work for me. James's coaching, Gav's coaching, oh, it didn't work for me." And they're not fucking stuck to anything. They're not done anything that was said. They've not worked on anything. They're not stayed consistent, and yet they're saying that they didn't get the result because they're putting the blame onto us rather than them not following what we basically told them to do.
I guess as well, it's also making sure that it's built for purpose, making sure that it sort of fits around their lifestyle and stuff like that, which ultimately, like, we've all built plans right at the start of when you first started PT, and it's like, yeah, this is on my agenda, not yours. And you sort of learn as you go ahead with that. Everybody's fucking done it. So the more and more you get through it, the more and more, obviously, you start to listen to the people and you'll get an understanding of sort of where their goals are. And one of the things that I've found that have helped me massively is just having a better timeline of events. And now, when you look at certain people as to how much weight they need to lose, some people do have a timeline. Some people are just, I just want to lose some. I don't necessarily have a long-term timeline or anything like that. I just want to lose a little bit of weight. Those are the guys that I find lose motivation quicker than the ones that have that sort of goal, whether it be 12, 16 weeks, or it's like, I've got 6 months to fit into this wedding dress or whatever it may be, because the overarching goal for them is massive at the end. The guys who sort of come on and are like, yeah, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, feel a little bit more comfortable, are the ones that sort of lose that motivation. Now, is that because the end goal, they don't necessarily have one? Maybe it's a case of when we're timelining this type of stuff, it's breaking it down into smaller chunks. So we're going to push for 4 weeks. We're going to come back out again, and then we're going to find your motivation to go again for another 4 weeks. We might push a bit harder this time. It's similar like the way you would do like volume training, increasing intensities and stuff like that. You wouldn't increase. You would maybe do it through a spurt, pull back a bit, and then push again. So that's the type of way that I've tried to work with people who sort of do lose that motivation to sort of keep going. And ultimately their goals might actually change. They might get to a stage after 6 weeks and be like, I actually feel really comfortable now. But I remember I told them I wanted to really lose weight. But they maybe don't have the confidence to turn around and say, I don't want to lose weight anymore.
Okay. I was on a call with a mentor the other day, and he actually said to me, so he said that with someone he works with as a coach, like he just kind of turned around to him and was like, hey, like, do you still want to do this? Is this still what you want? And it's like sometimes just simply fucking asking that, isn't it? Because as you say, goals might change. But like you're absolutely right when you say there's that timeline of like the shit's got to be in place. So like I'm thinking about my client Harriet, who had to fit into like a bridesmaid's dress for a wedding she was going away to, and it was like away in another country as well. So it was like basically the dress is bought, I've got to fit in this, and then we've got to fly there and go there, blah blah blah. 8 weeks, £28 down, like, you know, just that can be achieved when someone's just fucking ready for it. I mean, what's that? It's over £3 a week on average. But like I suppose like a lot of the time you're only going to get that sort of urgency and that sort of speed if there is something serious like that to achieve, like something that like it's not life or death, but you know what I mean, like that was quite a serious goal. Whereas like, okay, the job now is for her as well. The job now is like, okay, we've not got anything that's actually as important as that, so how do we keep this going and how do we keep that motivation up? And it's going to be different for everyone, because I know I'm one of the people that like, I'm not a goal setting kind of guy. I'm not like, oh, in 4 weeks I want to be here. I'm just like, right, I kind of want to do this. I'm going to head in that direction and see what happens. But then for me, sometimes I've got to remind myself that other people aren't like that. Like other people are like, okay, we need this objective that we're working towards in X amount of weeks. But it's tough.
Break it down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's also, you can get into all the kind of like, you know, like the 5 whys. Have you tried all that kind of shit before, James or Gav? Have you guys tried that? Why?
Don't think I've had to try it.
it's basically yeah, just if you've not tried it, anyway, it's basically just, I suppose, ask him why 5 times. You're not just going to go why, but like, you know, it's digging deeper, isn't it? It's like, you know, I want to lose fat, why, you know, because I feel uncomfortable, why, you know, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. It's not something I've used a lot of either, and again, it's definitely a weaker point for me, is the psychology side of things.
Then they end up burst out crying at the end.
And that's when you raise the price. You're like, it's actually $450 a month now.
To help someone like you, you've broken.
Fuck yeah. Again, going back to fitness business mentors, some of them literally do tell you to try and get someone to cry on the phone before they sign up. Fucking mental. I wouldn't know what to do if someone cried to me on the phone.
Nah, I don't think I've had anyone crying before. Definitely had a few people crying after. The first session, not the end of it. The first session, the end of it.
I'm so bad at when people cry. It's like when Bet gets upset, and they're like, they're there.
Rigor mortis starts kicking, and you're like,
are you all right? Exactly there. I was like, what do I do? I don't like it when people show emotion. Me being autistic as fuck.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. But like, yeah, it's definitely a big thing. So like, going back to like kind of what we started the conversation about, like, you know, pushing through the summer. I suppose there's got to be a target. There's got to be a goal. Otherwise, like, you know, well, yeah, you're already beaten. Like, you can look at it and say, right, over the summer, I want to achieve X, or you can look at it and say, I'm not going to achieve fuck all because it's the summer. And again, we've kind of established that's an excuse. So there's something that like someone listening can take, something tangible. We'll have something to work towards. But again, for different people, that's going to look different. I know I've certainly had clients where they've got very busy social lives, and I'm like, you know what, for you, for this period, like, let's just aim to maintain. If we can maintain, we're doing fucking great. You know, if we're not going backwards, we're going forwards.
Here's the question. Say you've got someone like a client to diet down for the holiday. They've got in really good shape. What do you tell them to do on a holiday? What do
don't eat like a dickhead.
Yeah, what I've started doing like a new thing like this year with clients who've been going away, and I said to them, I was like, look, you don't want to go away, you don't want to get to the airport, get in the airport lounge, eat fucking everything that's there, and then you get to the all-inclusive. First day, you fucking nail everything, and then you take your top off the side of the pool, and then you'll watery and everything, and then you look down and think, oh fuck shit, I don't feel comfortable with myself now after looking like amazing. So then you put your top back on, your vest back on, and you don't take it off for the rest of the holiday, and you've got another 10 days to spend there. So what I tell people to do is like a traffic light system is, so you've got red, which is like a light meal, so have something easy, small meal, protein, etc. Obviously try and include like protein every meal. Then you've got amber, which is like a medium-sized meal, some good bits in there. And then you've got like a green meal where you can have literally whatever you want. So you're eating 3 times a day. So you've got a big meal, medium-sized meal, and then you've got a small meal, and obviously just drink what the fuck you want outside of that, because to be fair, you're gonna keep him more fucking shredded by drinking like booze, aren't you?
If you're already lean, anyway, yeah.
But yeah, exactly. So that's how I normally like what I say to my clients. So if you want to stay in shape on holiday, you don't want to look like shit after a few days, and then you just feel fucking guilty and you feel bad, then just run something like that, and it tends to help keep that body fat off and looking so fucking watery.
It's funny, I've never heard that before, like put in that way, but I basically just done it like that, if you know what I mean. Like, it's like, I suppose it's just having a bit of fucking thought behind it, because like I was having 2 courses for breakfast every morning because that's my favorite meal of the day. But like literally, first one's like Greek yogurt and some fucking berries and shit like that. So, you know, a bit of protein, and then just some eggs and some like toast, right? And then lunchtime, I was either eating like this kind of like chicken and rice sort of thing, or I was having pizza. But if I was having the pizza at lunchtime, I'm having a smaller dinner sort of thing. So it's like similar kind of lines, but like I wasn't even attempting to keep on top of it. And I came back and I've actually dropped over 1 kilo now since I've came back. So fuck knows what that's all about. But,
so when I went away to Mexico last year, I went away in 94, came back 94, and I weren't really thinking of what I was doing. I just thought, right, I have like a medium-sized meal for my breakfast, got pretty much like a lot of protein in there, decent stuff. And then like dinner, something like, to be fair, because I was that busy drinking and stuff like that, I wasn't really like, didn't care. So I just went to like the buffet or whatever, and I got some protein, some rice, potato, things like that, something like relatively easy-ish. And then they had that like medium sort of meal in the evening where we went to like one of the like a la carte, fucking whatever you call it, restaurants at the hotel. And they had like these like sort of like smallish portion sizes, but you got like 5 plates, and it wasn't that heavy either. So it worked out well. And then I just smashed a shitload of tequila between that. So it was, yeah, it works well.
The tequila.
I think a lot of the time as well, when people go on holiday, especially all inclusives, is they'll go straight to just the first aisle they see, and they'll start picking food out of that. They'll sit down and eat it, and then they'll go back up for the second plate, and then they'll start seeing stuff they didn't see before because they've just literally went to the first thing they've seen. One of the things I started doing, especially over the last few holidays, was sort of just walking around the whole canteen and having a look to see what was there. What did I actually fancy? And more or less sort of eating based on what I fancied rather than just eating with my eyes. Like if I seen something, I was like, I'm having that, right, perfect, I'll sit down, go back up, oh my God, why didn't I have that? I need to have that now because I have to try it. The other thing you can sort of get an idea of as well, most all-inclusives are like this, like they'll have set foods that are out pretty much every night. And if you go on all-inclusives quite often, you sort of have an idea of what those foods are. So it's almost a case of, if you know they're going to be there every single night, maybe pick the nights that you're going to have those. But the other foods that are there that you know are maybe not going to be there each night, you maybe have a pick out of that. The last hotel, or the last two we were at, they had specific nights like Mexican, USA, and that type of stuff. So it gave you a bit of an idea to think about. Oh, if it's Mexican, they're probably going to have this, this, and this. So I'm going to try and make room for that. And then the first meal I sort of had, I made sure it was pretty much 80% of the plate was just protein. Fill me up as much as I could right at the start. And then when I went up for sort of any seconds, it was like, right, I'm going to pick out a couple of things that I really want to try. And it's just small portions. Because you're that full, you're like, oh my God, right, I don't know how much I can actually eat. And I don't want to be lying at night in the entertainment, struggling to sip a pint, feeling like shit and needing my bed by 9 o'clock because the kids are still full of beans. So a lot of the time, just, again, planning stuff rather than just diving straight in.
Yeah. I done that when I was on holiday there. I was like, I would go up and down the buffet first, and I'm like, right, I need to think about what I'm going to actually have here. I'm not just like picking up random shit. And something that I do for evening and lunch meals anyway, is just fill half the plate with salad, and it's like, well, there you go, you've only got half a plate now. But what I actually wanted to say, Gav, was, you know, that last hotel you're at in Portugal, and the one that I said I'd been at before, how fucking good was the pizza?
Oh, so mate, unbelievable. The food was so good as well. But that was one of those hotels where it did give you the options of what you were having that night for dinner. So if it was Indian or whatever. So you sort of had a bit of an idea of, right, look, if it's Indian, the chances are that sauce is going to be fatty as fuck. So when I'm picking out that food, I'm going to try and pull as much chicken out the sauce as possible. There's my protein. Get a bit of sauce over the rice, all that type of stuff. But again, there's times and places for it. I guess if you're working with someone that is going on an all-inclusive, it's almost then pre-planning, right? How do we then sort out when we come back from the all-inclusive? What's your plans? What is it you think you're going to do on holiday? Get them to sort of give you well, when I've been on holiday previously, this is how I've ate. And 9 times out of 10, it's like, yeah, you've ate like a dickhead then. So how do we not, or try to stop eating like a dickhead so you actually enjoy it, and when you come back, it's not a slog? Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people, when they get the chance, they will go and they'll put a couple of kilos back on. But then that's, again, the plan afterwards is probably more important with that. If we know the type of person where as soon as they start eating, they're just not going to stop, because I'll hold my hands up. Sometimes I can be like that. If I start eating something, there's a chance that I'm like, shit, this isn't stopping. But again, it depends on like what my goal is. If my goal isn't really like, it's like what you say, I'm just going to plod along. I'm going to try and drop a little bit of weight. I'm not really asked how long it goes for. There's a good chance when it comes to the weekend, there's a movie on downstairs. The kids are fucking running about daft. They're wanting sweeties, crisps, all the type of shit. And they're pigging out. And I'm sitting there with like fucking a wee shitey bit of chicken, sweet potato, some broccoli. Yeah, give me the sweeties. And it's not just one or two. You'll end up fucking smashing the whole bag.
All right, turns out Gav's not dedicated enough. Let's kick him out of the team. But like, so what you touched on there before and after, like, because a lot of my clients, I'll admit, most of my clients probably, unless they've got some big goal that's after the holiday and the holidays just kind of landed up in between, I'm just like, go fucking do what you want, go enjoy it, because it's 1 week. What's 1 week going to do? But I find, so leading into the holiday, the week before, the idea being, right, you diet someone down, you've got them ready a week or two before for their holiday, you're not chasing their tail at the last minute, and then you can up calories, and so that they're not going in hungry. Because if you're going in hungry, like you said, James, going to the airport hungry, you're going to fucking go there, you're going to get yourself breakfast, you're going to down 10 pints, you're going to look a watery mess. And like, when you're hungry, you're like, you make more like irrational choices. So if we can go to the airport having had higher calories for a couple of weeks, and we've had some of the foods that we've maybe been craving a little bit, and we're feeling a bit better, but we're still maintaining where we're at, you're going to do better. And then, you know, you can assess the damage after and tidy up after if you need to. But even then, like, I've always found, like, with 2 weeks of kind of returning back to like semi kind of deficit numbers, a lot of people just end up back where they were anyway after a holiday. So yeah, I'm never really too harsh on it unless there is something big coming up after it.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a good way if you still want to get shredded on holiday, and that's literally just using things like cocaine's your advantage. And then, you're not gonna eat. It's just you get
what kind of holiday.
No,
it's
only in a beefer.
Well, yeah, it depends if you plan on eating much. If you're just drinking and snorting, then you'll probably come back leaner. To be fair, when I was in Turkey, there's like I was the second biggest guy around the pool, right? There was a guy that was bigger than me, and this guy,
yeah.
What was that?
Height-wise, yeah.
Yeah. This is a country of short people, Turkey. But nah, there was a guy around the pool. He was quite big. And it's like you tell we both go to the gym. And he's walking past me. All right, mate, how's it going? Yeah, I see you in the gym in the morning. But I noticed just from seeing him around the pool, he's sitting and he's sipping on cocktails all day. He's having a great time. But like you said, James, because he was like ripped already, he was lean already. He was just getting leaner as the week went on. He was just looking better and better.
The more you're drinking, the more dehydrated you get. You're just getting fucking shredded, aren't you? Yeah, he definitely was on cocaine as well.
Maybe. You never know.
Whenever I go on holiday and I see somebody bigger than me, I'm like, gear. I convince myself that I'm gear to make myself feel better. Definitely gear. Gear.
Nah, this guy definitely was. Like, there's no doubt about it. I was still smashing the hotel gym though, getting the techno gym chest press and getting all the plates.
Terrible kit.
Shoulder breaker.
The squat press is okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's the only good piece of kit they do by techno gym.
Yeah, there's a lot of padding on the seat. Like you get really like pushed into it. It's like a sofa or something. But like apart from that, it's all right.
The prime stuff in it. The prime stuff's really fucking padded.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff is quite padded, to be fair, isn't it? But forgotten what prime's like. It's been a long time. How's that Jim Lakel stuff? You guys been getting some of that?
You get some good and you get some bad bits, but some of it are all right. I used the DY row the other day at King's, and yeah, it's so much better than the hammer strength DY, just because it drops off and the handles are at a better angle as well. So you've got the neutral handles, and you've got sort of like the supinated underhand grip, which like you fit into better. Like the DY, you like that, and I can't use it like with two hands because I don't have that much like supination or rotation of your shoulder in that position. So we always have to do single arm on it, but with that I can use two, so it feels pretty good.
Need to come down to King's, try out some of this stuff.
In the next couple of months, we're getting even more. So there's about 15 pieces that we're waiting on. So I don't know where he's going to put them all because it's fucking ridiculous. So the amount of stuff is ordered.
Remember, just let me know when he's getting rid of stuff.
Oh yeah, we'll do. Yeah, definitely.
If my whole gym ends up blue, you know where it's all came from.
You have to paint it blue and black, and that's it.
Yeah, that'd be the easier way. Rather than painting the kit, just change the gym colors. Nah, it does look pretty cool. Going back to the subject again, because it's easy for us to get sidetracked onto things like kit, but and we're not talking about the kind of kit you were talking about, James. But like, so you got holidays, right? We've talked a lot about holidays. What about like barbecues, like unplanned nights out, or nights in the garden on the boots? Like, how do you guys handle that with clients?
Well, when you say unplanned, I mean, like, is that spontaneous in terms of like they literally decide on the spot to do it, or
yeah, it's a nice day, everyone's sitting in the garden, we're doing a bit of this, doing a bit of that. Fuck it, we'll crack open a beer here and see what it leads to, and next thing they're all snorting cocaine again.
Yeah, probably you're gonna lose a bit of calories from doing that anyway, so you're gonna move a little bit more. I mean, like the next day, depending how they feel, if they're fucking hungover or hanging out their ass, then potentially it could go either two ways, where they're not going to eat it all, or they're going to eat one meal which consists of about 5,000 calories. So it can go either way, can't it? Or if they feel fresh and they're in a good spot to, I just go pretty much low carb that day. So that's what I do with myself. So if I had an unintended event, I'd probably go low carb the next day, and then just see where my weight is the next after that, and then go from there.
I guess as well with barbecues and that, even if it is a bit last minute, there's enough options in shops these days to even still go to a barbecue and enjoy foods that you would normally have there anyway, like 5% fat burgers and that, sandwich thins, bagel thins, light cheese, 50% fat cheese. Like, you could still go to a barbecue and probably still manage to have a decent amount of food with a couple of drinks and still manage to realistically stay on plan, depending on how deep you are and how much obviously calories you're on. But in some cases, like I say, see if someone obviously gives you even a couple of days' notice. I know that some of them can be like sort of last minute. Oh, the sun's out today. We didn't expect it in Scotland because it never happens. We're having a barbecue. It's like, well, perfect. What have you got planned in to eat today anyway? Let's replace some of those foods. And if you want to have burgers, make sure it's 5%. Make sure it's the lowest fat cheese. And there's definitely ways to work around that a lot easier than potentially if it's like you're out traveling and all of a sudden the place you were going to go for food and you've planned out your meal is then fucking closed, or they don't have the meal you've got in there, and then it's like, shit, what do I do? Barbecues and that, I tend to find that are a little bit easier to navigate around than eating out sometimes.
Yeah, you're also up against it when like you're saying like take the fins with you and take your 5% mince, but like again, we all know what that's like in reality. You take your 5% mince and you take your fins with you, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, you know. So there's got to be like that confidence in what you're doing. Like again, like I would do that and it wouldn't bother me one bit. I just well, fuck you. But like, you know, a lot of people aren't that thick-skinned that way, and don't, you know, they want to be, I suppose, included to some degree. So yeah, as much as that's a nice idea, sometimes like in reality, it doesn't work. But you've got to think of barbecue. There's fucking loads of high protein foods. It's like
stay away from beers these days.
Was that, sorry?
Low calorie beers. You get low calorie beers these days that are like fucking.
Think of the slagging you'd get for them, man. Come on.
Just rock up with a pint. Absolutely, no bother. Sign me up.
But
like, I'll take them in.
But going back to it, it's like, you know, a barbecue, it's loads of high protein food anyway. So, right, just limit the amount of fucking rolls and that you're having. Stay away from the potato salad. Stay away from the unnecessary shit. Stick to the high protein options. Try and control yourself with drinking. As James says, get up the next day and make something of it, and, you know, control your diet. It's like, as long as you're but like as long as you're pretty good most of the time with your diet and training and stuff like that. If you're shite during the week and you're shite at the weekend, well, yeah, guess what? It's not going to work. But you know, if you 6 days out of the week you're pretty much on plan, one day that you're a little bit off, a little bit high calorie, it's probably not going to make that much difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to have a barbecue now. It's a nice day outside.
I know, by the way, I wouldn't mind a wee barbecue. I'm in the mood for one.
It's quite cold, despite looking nice.
I've been chilly. The last few days have been pretty cold. It's meant to be like that the rest of the week here, and then next week it's meant to heat up again. So,
I walked into Subway before, and they've got a new thing on the menu, and it's a foot-long cookie, a foot-long fucking cookie. How insane is that? I was like, what the fuck? It's only like £3 as well. It's like, fucking hell, I'm gonna get that the weekend.
I wonder how many calories is in that.
Oh, it's a big fucker as well. I was like, what the fuck?
Be dense. Like just like again going back to what you said, Gav, about like that day as well, like, you know, taking something out of the meals that you're eating that day to kind of almost save for later sort of thing. What you've got to watch with that sometimes as well is that you might end up like getting quite hungry, and then, as I said earlier, you get irrational when you're hungry. Because again, something that just happened to me earlier today is I was fucking starving, and like I'm looking at McDonald's, I'm looking at fucking what's it called, chopsticks. I'm looking at all these things, and I'm like, I could just fucking eat anything right now. I actually ended up having like one of those Greek kind of pita wrap things, because I was like, oh wow, I've never seen a place that does them before, apart from Greece. So I had one.
A wee wrap's not too bad. Like a wee wrap. The McDonald's wraps are all right. The grilled chicken wraps.
The grilled chicken ones are all right, but like McDonald's is shit.
It's shit. It's terrible. Like, you look at the photos and you're thinking this is going to be fucking incredible, and you get it and it looks like it's been kicked about the kitchen for 5 minutes.
So this is a good question to ask. What do you guys go for if you're out and about and you're like, you know, somewhere that's got all the generic places, McDonald's, Subway, like you mentioned, James? What do you guys go for if you need to get something but you don't want to particularly go off plan?
Subway salad, easy. Double chicken salad from Subway.
Oh, James is right on it.
Easy. Never really
I had it today.
I would. The where we are grubby. Like, I don't know if I'd eat out them. Like,
depends where you go.
Yeah. Mine's would be if there's a McDonald's and all that there. Usually my go-to is the kids like a McDonald's. I would have the grilled chicken wrap, the sweet chili one.
I've done both before.
I know it fits straight away because I've used it before with stuff like that. So it's like in my head, I know if I go here, I've got this on the plan. I know it works.
I've never had a Subway salad. I am partial to like a 6-inch or a foot-long sub, like depending on how many calories I'm on at that time. I've done the chicken wraps as well, to be fair. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else I do. A lot of the time, I'll just go into something like, you know, a shop like the Co-op, for example.
Yeah, go in, meal deal. Tesco meal deal. Perfect.
Packet of chicken and I don't know, just some shite to go with it, sushi to go with it. A lot of the time I'll just do that. It's just simple. Like as you said, Gav, there's fucking so many options now. It's like there's never been an easier time to do this.
Aye, 100%. It makes you wonder, like when it was back in like 70s, 80s, you couldn't track fuck all. Like, how the fuck did people
You'd have to
manage
manually do it?
Yeah, mental, absolutely mental. But yeah, like you say, it's like we live in a day and age where you could literally walk into almost any shop and there will be an option for you to have. Albeit, is it going to be the best thing to look at? Nah, it's probably not. But how bad do you want your goals? How much do you want to stick to it? And
that's it. And if you don't diet through the summer, you just don't want it badly enough.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Nice place to probably wrap things up. So yeah, first one with Gav on, it's complete. We managed to get through it. So let's see if the listens plummet now. I mean, we've actually not. When did we last do a podcast, James? Was the one with Christian, was it, or did we do one after that?
I think we did one after that, but it wasn't like anything like special, was it? I don't know if you uploaded it. I'm not sure. But
Probably
we did one
to be fair.
We uploaded the Christian one a little bit later, didn't we? So we uploaded that one and Christian ones later. So yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
Should probably get a guest on again, because Gav is like obviously going to be regularly on. He's not just a guest; he's just here now. So yeah, we should probably get something.
Might get sacked after this, to be fair.
What's that?
Might get sacked after this. I don't know.
Yeah, well, something you said about just not being completely dedicated, and sometimes you fuck up. Or like,
big bag of fuzzy fish. Oof.
But like we'll just keep hammering the fucking emails to Joe Bennett, James, and just see if he answers eventually.
Yeah. Not got me last like 20 anyway, so
it's like baby reindeer kind of stuff, and 40,000 emails.
My iPhone.
Will you come on our podcast sent from my iPhone? Please, Joe, come on our podcast. If you're listening to this, come on our podcast. I gotta get nervous anyway.
Oh, Joe.
I gotta be like, fuck, I don't know what to ask him now that he's here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Joe. Fuck's sake. Right, guys, we'll wrap it up at that.